What's going on, Bengals fans? Chris Daughtry back with you guys yet again here on Bengals Breakdown. This morning, we got probably what is going to be the worst news possible, I think, for this Joe Burrow injury. Adam Schefter reporting this morning that, he suffered that turf toe injury, and he is now expected to miss at least 3 months. It was a roller coaster kind of information after that Bengals game yesterday when Joe Burrow went out with that injury. There's a possibility that, it might only be a couple of weeks that we're going to go out there and get, other people to look at some of the x-rays and things like that. There's a possibility that maybe it was going to be about 3 or 4 weeks on the sidelines. But, worst case scenario was probably going to be out for the season. That's kind of what, it really does sound like at this point here. I want to take you back to some of the reporting yesterday here as well, when we didn't exactly know how long it was going to be that Joe Burrow was going to be out. Deepak Chona here, he's kind of a, medical doctor doing different types of things with some of these NFL injuries, just kind of sees what he sees and then goes out there and gives a little bit of context and information on that, saying basically with the turf toe injury, most of the time it's handled without surgery, average about 4 weeks. With surgery, probably going to end up being season ending here for Joe Burrow, but that doesn't really happen a lot. You see about 15% of the time. So, that was yesterday evening. He thought it might possibly be about 3 or 4 weeks for Joe Burrow. And then Andrew Hawkins also putting out there as well. In 2013, in his contract year, I hurt my ankle in training camp with the Bengals. The team doctor and trainers scheduled me season-ending injury. My agent and I got a second opinion from Dr. Anderson. That's who they sent Joe Burrow's x-rays and photos to last night to get that second opinion. He said he's told Andrew Hawkins that surgery wasn't necessary and he could be back in 6 weeks. He was right on that front. That's the thing that really sucks. We had two different scenarios here. One, Joe Burrow possibly back by week 7. Worst case scenario, they keep reporting that it's going to be at least 3 months. Well, in 3 months, the season's going to be over, unless you make a deep playoff run, which maybe the Bengals could end up doing that with Jake Browning, but it's going to be a feat. It's going to be an uphill battle without Joe Burrow here for, the foreseeable future. And it really sucks, dude, because Joe Burrow's injury history now with the Cincinnati Bengals, he's been in the league for 6 years. This could possibly be his third season-ending injury. You see there in his rookie season, had that torn ACL and other ligaments in his knee. That ended his season, and then that torn ligament in his wrist in 2023 ended up ending his season, and now seems like this turf toe with those torn ligaments are also going to end his 2025 season, barring, some kind of really good recovery plan. Maybe the Bengals end up making a playoff run, and then maybe he can get back by then, but man, it just does not seem very likely that you're going to see Joe Burrow back in the 2025 season. I'm distraught over this. Joe Burrow's top 2 quarterback in the NFL, and, last night when I saw all this news, I was kind of like, well, there goes the season. Are you guys crashing out over this Joe Burrow injury? Let me know what you guys think down at the pinned comment of today's video. Type Y for yes or N for no. Are you crashing out over this Joe Burrow injury? So what happens now? Well, Jake Browning is going to be the next man up for the Bengals. And I thought yesterday, he definitely had some ups and downs in that game versus the Jags yesterday. I thought they did a pretty decent job play calling once Jake Browning ended up going in. They fed Jamar Chase. They fed T. Higgins. There were kind of a lot of short throws, right there at the line of scrimmage, but they did also try to take some shots as well. T. Higgins had that 42-yard touchdown pass where he made the two defenders kind of crash into each other as well. And then there at the end of the game, they kind of took a shot to end up getting the PI call on Travis Hunter too, which, kudos to the play calling there on that last drive. By Zach Taylor. They had to convert 2 fourth downs on that drive, including one that was deep in their own territory, and then you got a little bit lucky there on that defensive pass interference call. But, we're going to have to see just kind of how this play calling goes, because I'm going to assume that Jake Browning is going to be your quarterback going forward, and, we'll see. We'll talk about here in just a little bit as well. The Bengals are going to be adding another quarterback to this roster. Make sure you guys are subscribed right here to Bengals Breakdown. A look at our September subscriber battle here for the AFC North channels here at Chat Sports. We are currently in third right now behind Steelers Talk and Ravens Rundown. We are ahead of the Browns Report, but we want to catch up to Ravens Rundown and Steelers Talk. So help me out. Make sure you guys are subscribed right here to Bengals Breakdown at youtube.com/BengalsTV. All right, we'll get back to some of these replacements here in just a second, but first want to give a shout out to our friends over at Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every single day, but on Prize Picks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. I use Prize Picks for so many different types of sporting events, whether it's professional football, baseball, basketball, college sports, MMA, boxing, and so much more. Prize Picks is a ton of fun, and if you guys know ball, you can win real money all season long on Prize Picks. This is the one that we cooked up yesterday, our power play for yesterday's slate of games. For the Cowboys games, Brandon Aubrey went with the more than on PATs made, got that one. CeeDee Lamb went with the more than on receiving yards for him, got that one as well. And then Travis Kelce had the max discount on him, only needed a half receiving yard. We got that one as well. So we cooked on that power play. Prize Picks did also invent the flex play, though, which means you can still cash out. If your lineup is not perfect, you can double your money, even if one of your picks does not hit. Prize Picks is super simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if you get your picks right, you could cash in and win up to 2,000 times your money today. So download the Prize Picks app today and use promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That link is going to be down at the pinned comment of today's video. It's also going to be down in the description of today's video as well. It's Prize Picks. It's good to be right. All right, so Adam Schefter also reporting this morning. He said the Bengals have been calling around to other free agent quarterbacks since after the Joe Burrow injury news, knowing that they will add at least one more to their roster. Now, right now, obviously, you have Jake Browning on the roster. He's going to be your starter going forward, I would assume, at this point anyways. But then you do also have Brett Rippon right now on your practice squad. We'll see if the Bengals end up, pulling him up to the active roster. I don't think, look, whoever you go out there and get, it's not going to be the best option, and, I don't think really anybody's going to be happy about who you end up going to get. It's just, slim pickings right now in the free agency market. Brett Rippon, hasn't really been good in his NFL career. You see there in 2021, he also played in one game. He went 0 for 2 passing in that game. So, I mean, it's a body there. But, if you're going to have Jake Browning out there, if he goes down, who are you going to go to after that? As of right now, I guess it might be Brett Rippon, but we'll see. We'll go over some more names here in just a second for some more free agent quarterbacks out there. But I want to hear from you guys down inside the comments section. What quarterback would you like to add? Free agent quarterback. Maybe there's a trade possibility as well. You can throw any trades in there if you guys want to. But what quarterback would you like to add to this Bengals roster? Right now, I think Desmond Ridder is probably the most logical fit, most logical name. The Bengals had him in the preseason, and, at least he knows the system. I'll say that. He knows the plays already. He knows the playbook. He was not very good in the preseason. 43% completion percentage, touchdown to interception right there was 1-1. Desmond Ridder's not the best possibility, but like I said, he is out there right now. And you could still add him to the roster if you would like to. There's a couple more free agent quarterbacks that I found earlier this morning as well. Mike White's out there. He's got some starting experience, especially going back to his time with the Dolphins. Dorian Thompson-Robinson played some for the Browns as well. Tim Boyle, he's kind of a veteran name out there. Kyle Trask has got some playing time in his time at Tampa Bay. And then Taylor Heinicke's also out there. There's some guys with some playing time that are out there on the free agency market right now, whether they're on practice squads, whatever you want to say. At the end of the day, they're free agents. So there's some guys with some playing time. Tim Boyle might be, a decent fit. At least he's a veteran, that has had a lot of playing experience, although, it is, as a backup quarterback. All of these guys are going to be backup quarterbacks at the end of the day, but it's not a good crop in the free agency quarterback market right now. Maybe you could even go out there, make a trade for another backup quarterback, but it's not a good quarterback group in the free agency market right now. And, you just got to hope at the end of the day that Jake Browning can step up and he can lead this team because, the news of the day seems like Joe Burrow going to be out for a minimum of 3 months, going to have surgery on that toe. And look, 3 months, that's pretty much going to be the end of the season unless the Bengals make some kind of miracle playoff push.